Kody Brown flew to North Carolina to repair his family. Two of his daughters live in North Carolina. He visited neither of them. One of them is Maddie. That single fact, geography, choice, silence, is what this entire video is about. Not the apology tour he marketed, not the emotional confessionals he delivered to a camera crew, the actual itinerary. The driveway he did not pull into, the door he did not knock on. And if you are new here and you want to understand why that matters more than anything Kody has said on camera in the last 2 years, stay with me because we're going to walk through every layer of this, and by the end, you are not going to be able to unsee it. If you are watching right now and you already feel that pull, that familiar tightening in your chest that comes when a Sister Wives storyline stops being entertainment and starts being something heavier, hit subscribe and ring that bell, because what we cover on this channel goes deeper than the clips. We do the work, and this video is the work. Let's start with what we know. Season 20 gave us something unusual from Kody Brown. It gave us self-awareness, or at least a performance of it. He sat in front of that confessional camera and said in various ways across multiple episodes that he had lost his children, that he wanted them back, that he was a man who had made mistakes and was trying to reckon with them. It was, by his standards, an unusually direct admission. The audience responded to it. Some people softened. Some people started to wonder if maybe, just maybe, Kody was beginning to understand what he had done to the people around him. And then Mykelti talked. In April of 2026, Mykelti Padron, formerly Mykelti Brown, Kody and Christine's fourth child, made a revelation that reframed everything Season 20 had presented. She disclosed publicly that Kody had traveled to North Carolina, not to visit family, not to sit in anyone's living room and have a hard conversation. He went to North Carolina, was in the state for a visit, and was approximately 1 hour and 45 minutes from Mykelti's home. He did not tell her he was coming. He did not stop by. He did not call ahead. Let that sit for a moment. Now add the next piece. Mykelti lives in North Carolina. Maddie lives in North Carolina. Maddie Madison Brown Brush has lived there for years. She built her life there. Her children were born there. Her husband Caleb's life is there. It is not a secret. It has been on the show. The audience has known for seasons where Maddie lives, which means Kody knew. And he flew to her state, drove through her general region, and went home without telling her he had been there. This is the part where a lot of commentary would soften the landing, would find a charitable read, would offer a middle interpretation. I am not going to do that, because there is no charitable version of this that holds up to scrutiny. Here is the logical framework. Either Kody did not know exactly where Maddie lived, in which case he is the father who cannot reliably locate his own daughter's address, and we are supposed to believe this is a man who is actively, desperately trying to reconnect with his kids, or he knew exactly where she lived, calculated the distance, and decided the detour was not worth making. Those are the two options. There is no third door, and neither of them is the behavior of a man who is genuinely fighting to rebuild what he has broken. The wanting and the doing are in different episodes. That is the core problem with Kody's Season 20 arc, and it was visible the whole time. We just did not have the concrete proof of it until Mykelti gave us that detail about the North Carolina trip. In the confessionals, Kody is full of want. He wants reconciliation. He wants his children to understand him. He wants to be seen as someone who is trying, but wanting, on camera, costs nothing. Driving an extra hour and 45 minutes costs something. Calling your daughter and saying, "I'm going to be in your state this week, can I come by?" costs something. Showing up costs something. Kody is very comfortable with wanting. He is significantly less comfortable with showing up. Now, let's talk about Maddie specifically, because she is the piece of this story that most people underestimate. Maddie Brown Brush has been, by every observable measure, the quietest of Kody and Janelle's children. She does not have a podcast. She does not do Instagram Live breakdowns. She has not appeared on a competing reality show or given a bombshell interview. In the extended Sister Wives media ecosystem, which includes Janelle's various social platforms, Christine's cooking content, Mykelti and Tony's online presence, and the public commentary of various extended family members, Maddie has been almost completely silent. For years, that silence read as neutrality. Maybe she was staying out of it. Maybe she was protecting her children from the public dimension of all of this. maybe she just valued her privacy. But silence is not the same thing as neutrality. Silence can be an answer. And when you stack Maddie's years of quiet against the North Carolina revelation, her silence starts to look like something else entirely. She was the first of Kody and Janelle's children to leave Flagstaff. Not because she was pushed out, not because of a public falling out, she just quietly built a life somewhere else. North Carolina. Far enough away that it required intention to stay connected. And for a long time, we did not know how connected that relationship still was. The show gave us glimpses. There was warmth, historically. There was the sense that Maddie had not burned anything down on her way out the door. But season 20 gave us confessionals from Kody about his children. And Maddie's name came up in the context of distance, of difficulty, of a relationship that was not where he wanted it to be. And then he went to North Carolina and did not knock on her door. What I find most telling about this is not even the visit itself, it's the pattern it confirms. If you watch Kody's relational behavior across the entire run of Sister Wives, you will notice something consistent. He gravitates toward the relationship that has the lowest emotional cost in a given moment. He goes where he will be received. He has conversations with the people who have pre-softened. He makes gestures toward the family members who are most likely to accept those gestures and least likely to challenge them. This is not reconciliation. This is triage. You don't triage when you're trying to rebuild. You triage when you're trying to survive. And the person you do not triage toward, the person you skip on the itinerary, is the person who still might say no. Maddie might say no. Mykelti, as it turned out, was also not on that itinerary. Both of them are daughters who have been publicly associated with distance from Kody. Both of them are daughters who have not publicly performed forgiveness. And both of them got the same treatment. A father in their state who did not stop by. Go back and watch Kody's season 20 apology to Janelle again with this in mind. Really watch it. Not the content of the apology, the context. He was apologizing to Janelle, who had already gone through the full public arc of the divorce, who had built her own separate story, who had established herself as a woman with her own life and her own narrative. The apology came at a moment when Janelle was, by every indication, already in a place of processing and moving forward. She was not in a position to still say no to the conversation. She was already in the conversation. That is very different from walking up to Maddie's front door and seeing what happens. Janelle had pre-cleared the script. Maddie had not. There is a line Kody said, in different forms, across 15 years of this show. Variations of, "I love all my children equally. I am equally committed to all of them. My children are the most important thing in my life." He said it about his spiritual philosophy, about plural family, about fatherhood. It became almost a refrain. And it was easy to accept when the kids were young and on camera, and part of the weekly episode structure. But kids grow up, and grown children make choices about how close they stay to parents who disappoint them. And now, in 2025 and 2026, we have the actual outcome data. Not the confessional declarations, the outcome data. How many of Janelle's 6 children are publicly, actively engaged in a warm relationship with Kody right now? The number is small enough to say in one breath. Actually, you could probably say it in one word. The North Carolina itinerary does not say, "I love all my children equally." The North Carolina itinerary ranks them. Quietly, by driveway, by whether or not Kody decided the drive was worth it. And here's the thing about Maddie in particular that makes the driveway metaphor land so hard. She did not have to make a statement. She did not have to get on a podcast and walk through the grievances. She did not have to cut him off on camera or give an interview or post something pointed on social media. All she had to do was keep living in the same house, keep existing in North Carolina, and let her father not show up to it. That is the whole story. She is in the house. He knows where the house is. He was in the state. He went home. There is a version of public silence that is powerful precisely because of everything it is not doing. Maddie is not defending Kody. She is not attacking him. She is not positioning herself in the narrative. She is simply living her life at a specific address, and her father knows that address, and that address has not been visited. Her silence is not absent from the story. Her silence is the story. The question a lot of people are now asking is, does this stay silent? Or does Maddie eventually say something publicly? And I want to be careful here, because Maddie's choices are her own, and there is no correct answer. But I do think the North Carolina revelation changed something. It changed it for Mykelti, who was the one who disclosed it. It changed it for anyone who had been waiting to see whether Kody's stated desire to reconnect with his kids was going to translate into actual behavior. The behavior is now on record. The itinerary is now on record, and Maddie's silence now has to be interpreted against that record. Before April 2026, you could still read Kody and Maddie's distance as mutual, ambiguous, unresolved in either direction. Now that ambiguity is gone. He was close enough. He did not come. What strikes me most, stepping back from all of it, is the way this pattern operates across every level of Kody's relational life. He chose among his wives in terms of who received his time and presence. He is now choosing among his children. The mechanism is the same. The people who get his presence are the ones who have made his presence comfortable. The people who might complicate it, who might ask hard questions, who might not have pre-forgiven, who might still be in the middle of their own grief about who he has been, those people get driven past. Maddie has been in the middle of something for years. She moved away before it was fashionable to move away. She built a life that did not have Kody at the center of it before the larger family structure collapsed. She was ahead of where her siblings eventually ended up, which is maybe why she has been so quiet. She already processed some of this alone, without cameras, without a podcast, without a divorce to give it a public shape. The distance was not new for her, which means the door he did not knock on has been there for longer than we realized. I don't think this ends in a grand public statement from Maddie. I think some people are built for that kind of public reckoning, and some people are not. Maddie has consistently signaled that she is not, but I also think something has shifted in how legible her silence is now. It used to be possible to read it as chosen neutrality. After North Carolina, it reads as an answer. The door is in North Carolina. It has been there for years. He knows the address. He was in the state. He went home. That's the story. Not the confessional, not the apology tour, the itinerary. Now I want to hear from you. Comment the door emoji if you think Maddie speaks publicly within the year. Comment the zip lip emoji if you think she never does. That her silence is permanent. That she has already said everything she intends to say by saying nothing. And subscribe, because in the next video, I am covering every brown child who has gone quiet and what that silence is actually saying. Not the ones who gave interviews. Not the ones who launched podcasts. The ones who just kept living their lives at addresses their father chose not to visit. That video is coming, and you do not want to miss it.